This is the Sunshine Cathedral perspective. Tony Awards shock America with Grand Wizard Desantis. Faggot wins a Tony, and trans history. Florida Governor turned presidential candidate Ron DeSantis received a shout out from the stage of the Tony Awards, and it was anything but an endorsement. Actress Deandre Benton elicited the biggest gasps of the evening from the audience when she compared Governor DeSantis to a Grand Wizard of Ku Klux Klan in her presentation of the Excellence in Theater Education Award from Carnegie Mellon University. The award was presented to a teacher at Florida's South Plantation High School, located just 4 miles from Sunshine Cathedral, and where we are broadcasting from right now. The drama teacher was Jason Zembuk Young, lives here in Wilton Manors. Benton's comments also came the day after DeSantis supporters were spotted waving Nazi flags at the entrance to Disney World in Orlando. This was not the only winning moment of the awards this year. The awards night celebrated many queer victories, including Alex Newell and J. Harrison Gee became the first openly non-binary trans actors to win Tony Awards for Best Performance by a Featured and Leading Actor in a Musical, respectively. Michael Arden's Broadway Revival of Parade snatched him the Tony for Best Direction on a Musical. Arden used his time on stage to hit back at bullies and homophobes by gloriously reclaiming the F-slur. He proudly said, and I quote, "Growing up, I was called the F-word more times than I can count, but now I'm a faggot with a Tony," unquote. CBS bleeped out the remarks, and for 60 minutes, his comments were a top trending Google search.
And while I am certain that the current governor of my home state of Florida will be changing. Please.
Well, I tell you, I love Broadway, and because of the Tonys, so many things that we may miss show up. I tell you though, about Gee. My husband and I were watching an episode on TV. The show is called Accused, but in that episode, they played a drag queen, and the drag queen had a lover who was straight and deep in the closet. Well, the lover did something that got him arrested and tried to make the drag queen a part of it. So at the trial, they came dressed as a drag queen and said, "Can you imagine with my Lee press on nails and this beautiful wig and these high heels, my going out and doing what this man said that I was doing?" It didn't happen. But I congratulate all of the folks on Broadway for what they do. And by the way, my husband and I are going to be up in New York next week, and we're going to see Some Like It Hot.
Oh, wow.
So it's
excellent.
Nice.
Excellent. I appreciate young people who embrace these edgy things. I used to be that young person, and which is why I'm amazed, because I haven't been young in a while, and I thought we'd covered all this ground, and so that these things continue to come up. So I never liked the word faggot. It's a harsh word. I just mean linguistically. It's just not a pretty word. So, but fag, that one I like. See, it doesn't have that at the end. It's just fag. I like that. So I don't mind being a fag. But you like faggot, you said.
Oh yeah.
So if it's something you can embrace and that is empowering for you, because what it does, it's like you weaponize that word against me, and I've taken your weapon away. It's like, it's not fun for you to call me something that I enjoy, and you people are still like, oh, they were mean to me saying I was queer when I was a kid. You haven't heard that lately as an insult because it's not fun for them, because we took that back, us Queer Nation age people took it back. And then of course we made it a this one. There's queer theory and there's queer studies and there's, you can get a PhD. all of this. And so by making it a social science, by making it a political statement, by making it an identity, by making it a thing of pride, we did to it what we did with the pink triangle. We just took it and used it as an empowerment thing. And so it's healing for people. Now, a lot of people are still so wounded from way back in the day, though. So fine, don't do it. But also understand why other people are. That it is empowering for them. You don't have to identify as queer or fag or dyke, but other people are like, oh yeah, I really became a person of power when I started calling myself a dyke or a faggot or whatever. So let people do what they need to do, and we'll let you not do that. But this war, you can't say something because it reminds me of a time when I was sad. Well, it made us sad too. That's why we did something about it. We took it back.
Yes.
We took the venom out of it. Now, what I also noticed lately, people like they don't like the more inclusive versions of the flags. They're trying to fight this queer word that's been, that's settled. I mean, it is a discipline, for heaven's sake. It's an academic discipline, but they're trying to compare, and this is all about white privilege and class privilege. They're trying to pit the good gays against the dirty queers, and that we're those people in the streets making all that trouble. Where the good gays, they work in the political system, they work economically, they wear nice clothes, they try to assimilate, and they're really trying to say, stop making all this trouble, and we can get away with our white privilege will protect us. Well, but not everybody's white, and not everybody has a lot of money, and not everybody's male identified. So the thing that you're accusing us of taking away from you, yes, you're welcome. Because what we're trying to be is fair and inclusive and empower all of the LGBTQ plus community. So, and queer is an umbrella term, like trans. It's an umbrella term that includes so many things. So again, if it's not for you, don't use it. But know that a lot of us are going to use it with great pride. And just like when Mr. Man says faggot, not my word, not mine, but it was so beautiful that it's his. Yeah. And so God bless him for it. And he was very courageous to make that stand.
And I shan't overlook the first part of the reference to the Grand Wizard. And all I'm going to say about that, if it looks like a duck, quack like a duck, walk like a duck, it must be a duck. As someone raised in the South with that atmosphere around me as a kid growing up, it's not a far-fetched pitch to make that the Grand Wizard, and that really hit me differently when I heard that. When I heard the comments, like, wow, I never would have thought of that in those terms. But you know what? It's real. Yeah. Kinda. And the intimidation that goes along with it, the fear planting and all of it that goes along with that behavior is right there. It doesn't know wear a white sheet any longer. It's just there in your face.
He won't allow teachers to have a rainbow flag on their desk, but says nothing about a Nazi flag showing up at Disney.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's who he is. Yeah. I'm not talking about political party. I'm not talking about political ideologies. I'm talking about that's ugly, and that's who he appears to be. That's who he presents himself as, and that's scary. Yeah. Ignoring that sort of thing never goes well in history.
And to be the ridicule he gives, I was really offended by his proclamation for the state of Florida at lowering the flags this past week in Remembering Post, because it's like it's an oxymoron. Who are you trying to placate to at this point by saying we're going to honor what happened by lowering the flags? And it's like, no, we're not going to play that game. And that's not a game that we're going to play with.
Hold my left hand. Hold my left hand. Take my left hand. Oh, look at this. Hold my left hand. Because June, as you know, is Marriage Equality Month. Oakville, it's also Loving Month. Yes. And so both justice rulings impact our household. So and also his sister and her husband. So anyway, that we've got two. So we had to fight for those. We're certainly going to fight to keep those.
Exactly.
Amen. Yeah.